excerpt was taken from the Full and Bloom interview with drummer Carmine Appice. You can listen to the entire interview at fullandbloom.com.
You know, when we started out with Vanilla Fudge, things were not that big. You might get a $30,000 to do an album, something like that. And then mid-'80s, I got $250,000 a record for King Cobra. That's two album deals, $500,000, and a publishing, a huge merchandising deal, and a publishing deal. We had close to $1 million worth of deals.
Didn't Spencer Proffer take?
Yes, he had the publishing, but we still got like a deal with it. But altogether, that's close to $1 million we had.
Sure.
And Vanilla Fudge, back in the 60s, and the bands never got that kind of money. New bands, that just shows you the span of what was being made. And groups that were successful, the Bon Jovis. What about that bit when Doc brought Bon Jovi to the Nassau Coliseum to meet me? He said, give him a little inspiration, right? Inspiration, guy comes out with the first record, sells 5 million records. So, those kind of advances were ridiculous. Blue Murder advances were ridiculous, and the amount of money we spent on the first album was something like $750,000. We got tour support, so before you know it, you did a video. The videos used to cost $150,000 a piece. Right there, you have $900,000 between what you spent on the record.
You got to pay it all back.
And you got to pay it back. And the Blue Murder record didn't sell enough to pay it back. But that record should be coming back to John.
Has it ever been repackaged and re-released or remastered?
Here and there.
I might have seen a remaster out there.
I think in Japan they did. In Japan, Blue Murder was really big. We went to Japan. We did 12,000 people in Tokyo. In Japan, it was huge.
You're talking back in the day?
Back in 88, 89, we went there. Because, I was really big there with Rod Stewart, with BBA. Rod Stewart used to do 6 nights at the Tokyo, Budokan, and with BBA, we were the second band to sell out to Budokan. The first band was the Beatles, and our albums were big there, and so when we went there in '89, it was like, the Whitesnake album was big, John was big with that. I was big. Tony was big with the Firm in recent years there. So it was like a supergroup. Matter of fact, it was really funny. There was an article in the Japanese paper, the Burn magazine, and they said great supergroups of the rock era, and it showed the Cream, BBA, Hendrix, and Blue Murder. So I was in 2 of them. That's how big it was there. It was huge over there. And then after we broke up, because the first album didn't do it, and then...
Yeah, Tony was saying John went kind of through a depression after that.
Big time depression. The grunge thing was in, and all the hair metal things, including Blue Murder, even though we weren't really a hair metal band, we were, like a 70s heavy band, a hard rock band from the 70s. But, John went through this depression, and in that time, Tony was on a salary from John, and I was never on a salary. I was just putting my eggs in the basket that, if you would have told me that Blue Murder album wasn't going to go, sell 2 million, I would have bet my house on it. We had everything.
I agree.
Me and John, we had Bob Rock, we had Mike Frazier, the engineer. We had, what's his name, John Kalodner from Geffen behind. We had all the pieces that needed except the management. When it didn't make it,
and a totally unique sound, too. On top of that, unique,
Yeah, and the three of us were big names at the time. And, so he went through a depression, and I was like, well, what are we going to do? So I had some Vanilla Fudge stuff I started doing. There was a live album that we had. I was going to put it out and do some day. And John didn't like the fact that I was doing something else beside him. But I said, well, what do you want me to do? So I don't even remember what happened, but I ended up saying, we both ended up saying, let's forget it. And then he tried to do the second album. He brought in a couple other drummers, and he ended up calling me saying, look, dude, the producer called me, Mike Stone, and said, we're trying to get the Blue Murder sound, and it's just not working with each other drummers. They don't have the same feel. We want you to come in and play on the record. So I played on the second record as a sideman.
Right. Yeah, I didn't quite understand that.
Right. I got paid through Geffen Records directly through the union and stuff, which I got paid, good money. And I played, I think, got 9 out of the 12 tracks, And I was listening to that album the other day, and I texted John just to tell him, I said, dude, your vocals on, I forgot what song it was, really fantastic. I mean, band sounds great. Just really, really ashamed that it didn't go all the way. But, you sound great. Your voice sounds great, I was really happy to be part of that kind of thing, I didn't get a text back.
He didn't text you back?
No.
Wow.
I wasn't like, I was trying to, get anything out of him.
Of course not, yeah.
I mean, I'm having fun. I'm having a good career. I mean, yeah, I'd love to be in an arena band again, but hey, you know what? I'm doing fine. I'm having a good time. My life is good. I got my relationship with my girlfriend. We've been together 16 years. We're having a great time. And, I wasn't trying to get anything out of him, like let's do the Blue Murder thing. Let's do it, I was just complimenting him because I thought it was great.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd asked Tony, I was like, even some one-off shows, but he was like, well, it's too much effort to just do one-off. Well, see, what happened was he went to Japan with this guy, Tommy, and Marco Mendoza. He really discovered Marco Mendoza, the bass player who played with Thin Lizzy. And of course.
Dr. Marco Mendoza from Twisted Sister.
Dead Daisies now, or just left them, or whatever.
Can you hold on 1 second?
Sure.
Yeah. So anyway, he went to Japan as Blue Murder because the second album went even bigger than the first one over there. The first one sold 50,000, 60,000. The second one sold 100,000 and went platinum. So he went over there as Blue Murder. Me and Tony went over there with Kelly Keeling, who was on Blue Murder album, with Mitch Perry on guitar. And we went over there as Rock Super Session number 2. So I did the Rock Super Session number 1 in 1982 myself. And so this was number 2. And we got paid good money, and a lot of it was off the strength of the second Blue Murder album. So you almost had like 2 Blue Murders touring over there, except we didn't call it Blue Murder, right? So we got paid well, played venues, we filled them up, we kicked ass. Me and Tony,
You were over there at the exact same time?
Within a month of each other. And then John got bad reviews, I think, because it wasn't Blue Murder. Marco Mendoza and that guy Tommy and John were not Blue Murder. It didn't go over well. So from then on, his next album was just called Sykes, and the album after, he did like 2 or 3 albums after that just called Sykes. And he would go over there as Sykes, and that he did okay over there with that. But even those records don't sell anymore. It's like me and Tony did a group called Pearl over there. And we, it was 2 Japanese people, a singer and a guitar player that had names, and me and Tony. And first album we did broke into Japanese charts at number 6. We got a Japanese gold record for it. We played with 5,000 people over there. So we had me and Tony had a career going there also while he had Sykes going. But those records sold big, and, there's no royalties on those anymore. It's like there's probably no royalties on Sykes records. It's like my BBA live record, which always made big royalties. Those royalties are way down. And the BBA record over in Japan, which was huge, those royalties are down. That's why I'm saying all the royalties are down.
Now just everybody streams, nobody... I still buy stuff.
You make crappy money, crapo money. I mean, I just had 100,000 streams for King Cobra and Catarsis, and, we got like $1,300. It's terrible.
That's insane.
Terrible. If you sold 100,000 records or 100,000 downloads, you're going to make, 9 cents a record for publishing alone.